Right. Hello, you guys. Welcome to Level Up with Katina. And I'm going to tell you, I have one beautiful, amazing guest on the show. I've been waiting for this because she's got so much. When you look at health, wealth, and just life in general, that's what life is. Everybody's looking for a better way of striving, a better way of just doing things. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce into this amazing, amazing talk show. And she has a beautiful talk show also, which we'll talk about. Miss Jessica Javens, who is a certified life master consultant, wellness coach, and supplement strategist. And she's the founder of Glow Inside Out and the creator of Love Your Life in 90 Days. Welcome to our show. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. I'm so happy to be here, Katina.
I,
Um,
I'm
eh,
excited.
yes, I'm very excited because you are this amount of energy and beauty from so much, from not just on the outside, but on the inside, and your strength and resilience and the message that you're putting out there. So when you invited me to come, I'm like, absolutely. We are aligned,
Oh,
and I can't wait for your followers, your audience to listen to this.
oh, wow. Thank you so much. Well, actually, you inspired me because I actually was interviewed by you on Andre the Beast Creighton show. And so hearing your message and just hearing about just your life journey and like where you've been and how far it reminds me of me because not only, thank you for those warm words, but you have that resilience, the strategy, the coaching to help not only just women, men, or whoever. And so that inspired me. I'm like, you know what? As we evolve in this world and society, that's one young lady that I would want on my show to spread the message. So without further ado, tell us a little bit about how you got started in the business of life coach, being a certified master coach, and other endeavors.
I always love to help people. And I think maybe because I was exposed to that from my parents were always volunteers. That's how they met. So I was raised in that environment. So throughout my life, that was always part of what we did is volunteer work and helping people and so forth.
Yeah.
So I always created a passion for that. So regardless of what career I was in, I think that was my favorite part. When I moved to Florida, United States, because I moved from Brazil,
Wow.
I went into corporate world and I went into banking, finances. So I was not an entrepreneur at that point. I actually was maybe a little scared of becoming an entrepreneur for a while because of past experience. And you create patterns and beliefs based on those things.
Right.
And today I can see that clearly. So I was in that capacity for 18 years and I grew to an
Wow.
executive position. And the part that I loved the most of that career, guess what it was? Helping people, making the
Wow.
difference, changing their lives with the services that we had at that time and the quality of the service that I could provide, that I was able to. So I could not imagine for many, many years how would I come out of a career that I built with so many years of experience, and I knew it so well, and I was became good at it that I could not see myself doing anything else. However, I was always stuck in the how. I always needed to know the how. And that was part of what held me back. The last 5 years of my career in banking, so on year 13 or so, I started to create a longing for something else, a desire, because I started having a discontent, not necessarily with the job, but it was, I felt in my soul that I was not reaching my full potential. I felt like something was not right. And I could tell that because there was evidence. My health was being affected, my friendships with my friends, my kids, my family, my marriage, everything was being affected. And I thought, in a way, that that's what it would be to be a superhero woman that can do everything, you know? And what happened is not for I couldn't figure it out. I was scared, and I came to a point, and this is where my change, my drastic change happened, It was just a few years ago. I just begged to God like I never did before to help me to figure this out because I couldn't. I was wanting to leave that and doing something else that I didn't know what and I didn't know how. So I kept just pushing it.
Yeah.
And finally, things started to unfold for me. I
Wow.
wasn't able to quit myself, like to do that. So I was part of a layoff, and it was a blessing in disguise. And I knew it at the time. I was actually hoping and waiting for that to happen for a few months at that point, because it was right after I begged God to help me with this,
Yeah.
right? And I had already started doing things in place of that. I started updating my resume. I started being more open to things, less anxious. And I knew that I was receiving that help from the universe. And once that happened, Katina, that following day, I was on the internet starting to look, training, got 4 certifications, started to look and be very intentional in looking for what I wanted to do. I did not want to go back to banking. I did have offers, yes. I even had an offer to be a VP on another financial institution, and I
Yeah.
said no. I did not want to go back to that. Although there is a value to it, I
Right.
was beyond that at this point. So that's when I became a certified life coach, a certified wellness coach, a certified dream coach. And I started working with companies that I experimented and I studied a lot in providing the best supplements and superfoods that people can have today to improve their health, which, by the way, improved my health. Just this time frame that passed from that moment of longing that I started to make the changes, I lost 80 pounds. My
Oh,
health
wow.
problems went away. My relationships gotten better in every aspect. I'm not an anxious person anymore. So I'm like really, really content because it
Yeah.
hurt. It was not easy, but finally I was able to break through that
Yeah.
sense of being stuck.
Wow, wow. And so let me ask you this question. So when you look at empowerment, when you look at the wellness coach and the life coach, and pretty much you're like a powerful figure in this society of motivation, because the words that you speak to people as far as like with the health, and you're advocating for people, that's huge. And so when you were in that 13-year like you were stuck and you didn't know why, you didn't know how, you just knew you needed to do something, right? And so tell the audience a little bit about when you transformed and you were stuck, even though you said a couple years ago you finally like, oh, I got it. How did you navigate family, life, being stuck, not knowing where you wanted to go, but tell the audience like how did you navigate to help them as well if someone is feeling that way. What did you do to make your day-to-day fulfilling without like losing like your mind? Like what did you do?
Right.
What's some of the pointers that you can share?
I love that question. That's the pivotal time in life that before the changes, how you're
Yeah,
coping and how do you
yeah,
get there. So there were a couple of things, Katina. The first thing that I can give you credit for is maintaining in touch and in contact with my spirituality. And I think that we are humans having a human experience, but we have a need to have a connection with our spirituality. So I would say that having that is super important to carry. So you're not feeling that you're by yourself, that you have to
right,
rely on your own health because your health can
yeah,
change. You might get, sick or different things that really make it more difficult. So once you have that spirituality, that in itself, and that routine that you allow yourself to enjoy and to intake will give you that strength. Number two, I think that is not hyper focus on yourself. There is a tendency to feel a victim, to feel injustice, to
yes,
feel, these negative feelings. If you shift a little bit of that energy towards helping someone else, you start going back to also your purpose, which as
Right.
humans, we were made to also be able to add value to another human being. And that takes you away of hyper focusing on the negative, if that makes sense. So those are the
That
two
makes
little
sense.
things that I would highly recommend to kind of help you to cope. At this point, I wasn't taking care of myself in the maybe the physical form yet, but at least I had something that was strong enough that kept me going, if you know what I mean.
No, that's perfect. And when you look at resilience, and we touched on that, in our interview, it's not, when you put that word out there, it's not that you're looking at resilience like, oh, I got to take on the world, even though I'm going through all these, little I call them hiccups. Like, it's just a short period, is what I tell my clients. It's just a short time that you're in this rut, but you got to find a way, like you said, your purpose, your how, your why, and how are you going to do it. And sometimes people just can't get out of that. I get it. So not everything is, 100 proof. But when you look at passion and life and exactly what you said, you look at ways of, if you can't if you can't get out of the well as me, then you're not going to be able to transform and help anyone else. And I
Mhm.
think for me, just watching you and looking at your podcast and like looking at your things that you're doing, I'm like, you know what? There's a lady with purpose. And a lot of people don't know, where you've been or where anybody's been. But if I was to look at you, if I didn't know who you were, your purpose, months ago, I would have looked at you and said, wow, she, her life is like great. But I would have never known what you've been through, because you found that why, that purpose, that resilience, and you didn't put it as a, oh, me is my, I'm going to put this on my back and put it on other people's back. You took it, you honored it, you ran with it, and you made it what it is today. And that's what I think, that's what a lot of people want to hear. They want to hear truth, honesty. They want to hear, what are the things that we can do as a person? You and I are different. So whatever your attributes may be, mine's different, right? I may be able to, do something in a whole different way. But the way you brought that out there, it kind of resonates with everybody. It's not just a like, this is pivotal towards me. It's pivotal for life in general. In order to
Absolutely.
survive, it's life in general. And I love that statement you just made. It was perfect.
Thank you
Perfect.
so much. And
Wow.
the process is not as fast as it seems sometimes, because we
Right.
might see somebody and we get inspired in so many different ways today. It's easy to access that with social media by people's transformation in every kind and shape and form. But we don't understand sometimes how that took a while. It's not something that necessarily, happens automatically or, I mean, fast, So it was small shifts here and there, and that openness to allow that to yourself. For
Wow.
instance, one of my breakthroughs, Katina, through my coaching training with my coaches was the sense of deserving. And this is not to blame anything or anybody, but
Right.
I pulled in a way out of my subconscious that I did not feel deserving. And that held me back in so many things, in so many ways in my life. And me finally getting to see that, which I didn't my entire life, was crucial for me to be able to be open to change and to allow
Wow.
these changes that I so much wanted, for me to
Wow.
understand that pattern that I was carrying.
Wow. And I guess my next question would be, so now you're at this pivotal point in your life where you're just like, hey, I'm doing this thing. You got so much here. I'm reading your bio, and I'm just like, wow. I mean, you just advocate for everything. And so with that being said, when you look at like that pivotal point, is there ever a time where when you're day to day and you're like, okay, this is, it's not where I want it to be, but it's here. Do you ever kind of sit back and go, oh, I hope I don't get in that rut again? Do you ever have those moments?
I would say at this point, they're far in between now, because with exercises, I was able to see them coming, and I know what action steps I need to take to help me get out of going that path.
Wow.
So there are a couple of things that you, once you start creating a habit of these healthy exercises, I would say,
Yeah.
which is mainly, I would say, mental exercises that I know I need to do, proven methods,
Yeah.
also understanding the power of breathing, for instance, right? There's so many different things that I know that once I start doing them, I start to eliminate that thought and until it dissipates and I'm feeling good again. And the other thing I do, Katina, is ask this question: is this action aligned with the vision and the dream that I want? Is this aligned? Because if it isn't aligned, then it's not serving me. It's not serving the people around me.
Wow.
So maybe I should not take this action. So that I
Wow.
always evaluate each action if it's aligned.
Wow, I love it. And so when you look at the alignment and the purpose, now we're getting on to the mental health side and the health side. And so you actually founded Glow Inside Out and the creator of Love Your Life in 90 Days, like a mind and body transformation. Tell us about that. That's what I've been waiting for also. Like tell us like how you got started and what it's about and like how can it help us and ways to go about it.
So I went through a very in-depth training with my coaches, right? So I invested a lot of time during this growth moment of my life studying
Okay.
and practicing. And again, I didn't know how I was going to change or what these exercises would do with me, but I decided to have, faith. I knew that many people had achieved it. So I decided to go and do it. After doing a lot of research, I encourage people to do research so they know what they're doing. They're not
Right.
just going with headlines.
Right,
um,
right.
so I was confident, but I hadn't had the experience yet. So once I
Yeah,
allowed myself to open up and allow myself, that's when the door opened and I went and did the investment and I allowed myself to go through it. So a lot of it is things that I've been picking up from these teachings and my coaches who have been helping me through their experiences, also through science, neuroscience, and metaphysics, and of course, what you eat, your exercises,
right,
the physical things that you do, your spiritual. So basically, one quadrant of life at a time, nourishing that, right? And for
right.
that, sometimes it's overwhelming to somebody, especially today with so many different channels and people offering different things. So that's why I encourage the research, right? But I will tell you, having the right connections with people who were supporting me, people who had um, complete, genuine interest in my growth and were there for me at each step of the way of maybe me not understanding how am I going to do this? How can I feel better about this? What is the
Right.
pain? What is the longing? Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. That was very important because if you're going to do it by yourself, it's like
It,
going up a mountain
yeah.
for the first time by
Right.
yourself. You're probably
Right.
going to give up, probably going to get hurt,
Right.
probably going to take you a long time to get to the top if you get to the top. But if you have somebody who already knows the path and is walking with you, now you'll get there faster, you avoid the dangers, right? And he knows
Right.
the best route. So basically, I encourage people all the time to get the right support. And that should feel good. It should not be something critical,
Right.
doubting. And today, I love it because that's what I surround myself with. This is what I read, what I listen to, what I talk about. And that way I'm feeding that constantly, which opens the door for more. So, talking about my program, part of my vision is to be able to help other people go through what I've been through, is to
Right.
completely change grow their perception, their mind, understand their whys, their patterns, and be able to become the best version that they can in
Oh,
every
wow.
sense. And I am today the best version of myself up until now. And growth is a continual thing. So it's something that you are your best investment. You
You
are the most
are. Yeah.
important thing. So you need to keep working on that because that's how you're going to be able not only to be joyful about being alive, which is a gift, but also you're going to be able to make that impact that you probably want to do. If you're not wanting to make an impact in the world today, is because you need to nourish yourself, and you need to take care of
Absolutely.
yourself, and you need to have the right people in your corner to do so. So the first step is to be able to say, I am ready. I want to make the necessary changes. I'm ready to feel better. I'm ready to live the dream that I always wanted. I'm ready to change the job or to get into the right relationship or the right friends, whatever it is, make the money,
That's
whatever
right.
it is that your dream is, that you long for, is where I step in and I support that. So my program of 90 days is a 12-step program based on science, proven of transformation, which is
Yeah.
mind. And I supplement that program with a 90-day body reset with superfoods that is organic, that is complete,
Wow.
that helps to eliminate toxins, metals, and glyphosate, which is a thing that is very prominent, especially in the United States. So a lot
Wow.
of people are walking around with all these things, taking maybe vitamins, and the body is not even capable of absorbing them because their body's not working at their best performance, you know. So
Right.
that cleanse with super organic foods, the best one that there is crucial for the mind, because you're cleaning your body, you're making everything work better. So that way it comes hand in hand for a complete transformation.
Oh, I love it. And so your program, what ages would you say that it starts at? Like what would be beneficial at what specific pivotal age?
Well, anybody can benefit from this.
Okay.
Anybody who is willing. I've seen uh, people underage being able to transform if they have the right mindset and they're ready and they allow themselves to. I think it's more of that, is the person kind of being ready.
Ready.
There's nothing against any of the foods that we have. They're organic. They're vegan. There is typically no ingredients that people have allergies with, so it's very easy for digestion. Is actually light, easy. It helps, you know, for you to feel good. It's all feel good food. So anybody. However, when I do advertise and talk to people, I typically do it for 18 and plus, and that's just because I would say if somebody wants somebody under 18 to do any of it, they would need a parent's consent. So parents can make
Oh,
that
absolutely.
decision.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Transformation, you want to make sure, because sometimes what you and I, when you outline programs, like when we come, we do our programs or we, invest in something or we actually create things. One of the things a lot of people have to look at is that when you're putting this message out there, you got to put it out there, to a way where, is it going to be beneficial for kids? And if so, how are you going to navigate that around parents and things like that? And I hear that a lot. I used to do, it was something back years ago. I forgot, it was a wellness something where they were doing like supplements and shakes and, all those things. But then, from the ironing of it, the parents would say, well, can my 13-year-old do it? Can my 14-year-old do it? And like you said originally, you have to make sure you do the research, because a lot of times parents will just do it because they think, oh, if it's good for me, it's going to be good for my, kids. And so that's one of the things that I've always like instituted in anything that I do as far as health wise, because you just never know. Some parents are like, oh, I did it. I don't think it's bad. Organic. You think organic is like,
Yeah.
that's not bad, it's good, but yeah, it may be good for whoever, but just kids is a little bit different. I'm very cautious when it comes to kids because their body's changing, hormones is changing. So
Yeah, a
that's a
lot
good
going on.
topic. Exactly, so that's a good topic. I'm glad you brought that up. Now my next question is, when you talk about like the organic, so I'm conservative Jewish, and so like when you have clients come on, different nationalities or whatever it may be, is it like, do you, like for me, like, is there something that I can utilize, in my culture? Some things I can't eat. So can
That's a
I?
great question.
Yeah,
That's a great question.
yeah.
I do have a line of superfoods that is kosher. So it's certified international
Beautiful.
kosher. So because I think that the objective is to be able to reach the highest number of people possible that can
Right.
access this. Some of these certifications are very important, and I'm very happy that the company, the partnerships that I have with them recognize that need. So yes.
Wow. Beautiful. Now, so tell us a little bit about how it works. Is there a specific, like, do you sit down, with the client? Do you go over like from a course A to B and then you point out the foods and what's healthy and what's not? Like, do you give that specific guide for them? Like, if it was me, it's like, I'm just going to use me. If I needed something kosher, there's certain things that I eat, but I still need, aspect of my culture, some of that. So, like, how would you like institute that with me as far as like the foods? Because I'm very on the foods, if nothing else, the foods.
That's good. So it's very important that we do have a one-on-one conversation. So a strategy call would be very important because that
Perfect.
way we can see what your needs would be. What are the things that you would like to change? What are the things that you would like to improve? What's the main goal? And then align that to the products that might fit you the best for you to use
Perfect.
them. It's important that we understand if you have, for instance, any allergies or any treatments that you're doing right now. I always recommend people to also do a full blood exams and panels because that
Yeah,
way you can also see a little bit more about what you are deficient in because sometimes you have the symptoms but you don't know why. So it's very important. And also
right.
talking to your doctor. My doctor knows the superfoods I eat. Some of it is actually funny because when I shared this with her a while ago, she was like, "Oh yeah, I take those too." I'm like, "What?" Yeah, because
Love
they're
it.
very good. They're very good. So I
Yeah,
was happy. She's not a traditional doctor, like a family doctor. She's one that loves to study about nutrition.
yeah.
Most doctors don't do much nutrition. They just
No, they
focus
don't.
on, right? I think somebody said it's only out of
The health.
years of med school, they do, I think, only 24 hours of nutrition.
That's
So they
about
don't
it.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're going to recommend medicine, so that's why it's important that we educate the people about the power of getting the right foods in your body. Because that's something that,
yeah.
especially again in this country, is not very well known. But my doctor is in it, so I'm happy about that.
Right. Now, do you have nutritionists on board? Like, do you use other collaborators, with your transformation for what you do, or is it you just bringing in your expertise in?
Yes, I do have. I work with a few companies that I did research with and I
Wow.
partnered with them. So they are the combination of them, depending on the client's needs, is what we work with. And it offers, and they have a very good selection of
Yeah.
superfoods. They've been in business for decades. So the proof and it's all there. And
Wow.
of course, I did it. My family's doing it. I'm always, and I can see the changes. I've met tons of people who
Yeah.
have benefited from it as well. So, anyways, as far as my personal experience, because it changes for everybody, everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
But for me, I stopped waking up at night. My sleep got better, and you know how important sleep is for the
Right.
mind and the body and everything. I also was able to have more energy throughout the day because I'm, feeding myself with things that I typically would probably not, purchase or eat. Like for instance, that doesn't even taste good, so you avoid that. Like spirulina, is something that you typically, most
Yeah.
households don't
Yeah.
buy that and eat that. But that's just an example. So I work with different companies like that. I'm actually
Wow.
starting this month complementing and seeing how my body responds to sea moss. So I'm going to start trying that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Now, do you have so it's say for instance, if people didn't want to go your traditional route, so they didn't want to do the consultation and sometimes people, and I'm just being honest, I get it all the time myself.
Sure.
Sometimes they just want to like read it themselves, like, Dr. MD on, the web MD things and read about it themselves and research it. So do you allow for them to, if they don't want to do the one-on-one coaching, just to get the product and try it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Whatever combination works better. This is about what's best for the client, right?
Perfect.
We
Perfect.
want to be able to serve their needs and the best way possible. So absolutely, everything is flexible and tailored to the client's needs. I do, even when I'm doing a group coaching, I have a group going on right now that most of the clients are doing both, but one isn't. They decided that they just wanted to do the mental part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's okay. And that's okay. We adapt to it accordingly. My job is just to make sure that the information is there for them. And if they resonate with it, if that's something that they want to try, let's make it happen. If they're not ready for it, they're not ready for it, you know? So we have to understand that and do the best that we can, and just providing them the information and education for them to make the decision.
Wow, this sounds amazing. So, do you have a specific website? Like, I know you have a few. Do you have a website where they can just, and I'll put it on the bio too once we're done, I get it all edited, of like the different websites you're comfortable with putting out. Sometimes,
Sure.
when people have businesses, they really don't want to like put things out that if they go to and they click on it, it's like I really need to tell you about that before you actually go look at it. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
specific websites like they can just go Google, just kind of look at, kind of get a feel of like where you are and what it's about. People like to like visually look at things first.
absolutely. Well, I'm in all social media platforms. You can look for me, Jessica Javens, and some of my social media is my podcast name, Jessica
Okay.
Javens Talk.
Okay.
My podcast is in all streaming podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcast, Roku, Spotify, U42, YouTube, and so forth. And I do have my website. I'm still developing it, but I'm not making my clients wait. Whatever it is that I've achieved, I want them, I am very transparent, and I'm not going to have to wait for everything to be perfect, because that's how I used to be.
Absolutely.
I used to be that way. Everything has to be perfect before, no, I don't do that anymore. So my website is my name,
Okay.
jessicajavens.com. Um, and then, of course, I do have some information about these products and how to
Okay.
access them in my website, and about my 90-day program as well. And I'm on WhatsApp, Nextdoor, everywhere you can think of. I am
Wow.
available and reachable globally. Physically, if I have something, of course, presential, I'm in South Florida, so that's where you can
Yeah.
see me in one of the events that I present or participate in, and that's where you can find me as well.
This is beautiful. So you have a unique background, not just in the wellness or attributes, but you also are technically a awesome motivational speaker. So let's leave the health and wellness out. Do you do, as far as you talked about the mental aspect, do you go to conferences and do like a lot of mental health, like coaching and, motivation, for the audience and things like that? Do you have a lot of those going around also?
Yes,
If they don't
yes.
want the, health side of it?
Yes, so they're typically called like vision workshops. And that's where I share some of the transformational key ways of changing your mental
Okay.
attitude. I help people, I would say, if I have to sum it up, I help people define and clear their dream. Because most people either don't have a clear dream, it's very generic, or they don't know what they want.
Right.
So that in
Absolutely.
itself is one of the first things that we need to clarify. And I work with them during this workshop to clarify their dream. And then I teach them a couple of blueprinting steps. So basically, how you can start making that dream come true. So that's what I do in my vision workshop, and everybody loves it. It's very, very, very touching. There's
Wow.
even times that I get a little emotional because I start my nervous system has already memorized the feeling of everything, right? Because I
Yeah.
practiced that exercise I told you about. So sometimes I even get
Yes.
emotional during, because the gratitude is so big. You know what I'm saying? So it's awesome. It's amazing.
Wow. This is amazing. And when you reach out to, I mean, it's not just individuals, it's like the whole world. Like this is a transformation for the world. And what you're bringing to the audience is it's like, gosh, if you're not thinking about your health and the mental health side, you need to be, because it's very important, today in this society. And I keep, saying it, and I'm so blessed that you're on my show, because a lot of times, not only does, when you look at physical health, if you don't have the physical health, the mental health will be affected. That's a given. Because if you're not physically, I'm not even saying fit, but just eating the right foods, doing the right things, even if you're just getting a little bit of exercise. Mentally, what people don't understand, I hear it a lot from my clients. They're like, I'm not in shape, I'm not eating the right foods, and why am I so anxious and nervous and depressed all the time? I don't know why.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? They go hand in hand. And for you bringing out this transformation, and you're actually well-rounded, like you're not just doing one, you're doing both. And that's what a lot of people in society needs. Like you're bringing both of it to the table. And I like it because it's not one or the other. If they choose to do one or the other, I get it. But you're just bringing that whole holistic approach. Like you're not leaving
Yes.
anything on the table, and I love it. I
Hmm.
absolutely love it.
Hmm.
Anything else you would like to share with our audience? Any conferences
If
coming up or
To all of your audience right now, if you guys are watching this, make sure that you're clicking like, that you're following Katina's channel,
oh, thank you.
that you are supporting our mission, because we just
Yes.
want to make sure that we're helping people to love their life more, to grow, to enjoy life. And especially today, like Katina said, it's so hard. There's so many problems out there. But remember, whatever you focus on expands. So if you start focusing on your well-being, in your in gratefulness,
Yes.
in growth, you and everybody else around you will benefit. So it's a win-win-win, always when you do that. So I encourage you to take one step now, and one step at a time. There's not much,
Yeah.
not much is needed. It's just one thing at a time. And you will be amazed, because the power that we have within us, Katina, that we have right now, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, the power that we have inside of us is far greater than any situation, circumstances, or conditions. So if you
100.
believe that,
Yes.
let's walk together.
I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Jessica, for being on our show. And I actually look forward to, because like I said, I follow you a lot. And when I can, when I'm not like all over the place myself, I try to stream like everything that you're doing. I may not be able to catch a lot of it, but when you look at like you and I, when you look at the aspect of helping others, we have that same vision. And it's not just a fly by night, oh, it's a vision, I want to help somebody, and then drop off. But the amount of work and things that you're doing to transform like people's lives is amazing. Not only are you bringing that part, but I love that health part. So, I got to get with you on that part also. But I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for strong, powerful women that is out for a mission and a purpose. And no, actually I call it, and no looking back. Sky's the limit. So thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that with our audience. Thank you so much for being on the show. I just honor you and everything that you're doing. And also follow Miss Jessica and like, share, and go to her platforms, keep looking at her mission, her vision, because it's there, and that's what we need today. We actually need this more than ever. So thank you for being on the show. I
Thank you,
appreciate you.
Katina. You are amazing. Keep shining.
Oh, you as well. Thank you so much. Wow.